Hello, I am Shannon Edwards, your host and the owner of TriStar Pension Consulting. I would like to welcome all listeners to our podcast with a special welcome to those of you listening for the first time. I started this podcast because I have a passion for helping Americans achieve a dignified retirement. By sharing innovative ideas, this podcast is designed to help close the gaps that America has in retirement savings and coverage. By doing so, we can improve the lives of working Americans. Today on The Gap, I'm excited to welcome Apryl Pope, certified financial planner and the founder of Pope Financial Planning. Apryl serves as a personal CFO for high achieving women who are ready to stop DIYing their finances and start building a strategy that supports both the lives they're living today and the futures they're working toward. With more than a decade of experience, she specializes in helping clients bring clarity and confidence to their financial decisions. She helps them offload decision fatigue and organize financial chaos to bring calmness to both their present lives and their future goals. However, Apryl's impact reaches well beyond her professional work with clients. Apryl is passionate about making financial planning approachable and empowering for those who may feel overlooked or underserved. She devotes time to advancing financial literacy, mentoring other women in business, and serving in volunteer leadership roles that strengthen both her community and her profession. She has a long history of service and leadership in her community and beyond. Through all of this, Apryl's focus is clear, helping people move from overwhelmed to organized, from reactive to proactive, and from carrying the weight of financial decision making alone to finally breathing easier about their money. Her work focuses not only on helping clients secure their own futures, but also on creating a ripple effect of financial wellness in families, workplaces, and communities. Apryl's passion for education, empowerment, and service make her uniquely equipped to help close the gap in financial literacy, retirement savings, and economic opportunity. Welcome to the Gap, Apryl.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Shannon.
I'm super excited about this. Ever since I started my podcast, you were one of the first guests that I wanted to have on because I follow you a lot, like on LinkedIn and stuff. And obviously, I've known you for a while, and you are so active in the community and in helping people. So let's get started. First, can you please share with us your personal journey? What led you into financial planning, into this profession, and eventually to founding Pope Financial Planning?
Yeah, that was an interesting journey. It started with being on the other side of everybody that I used to help. So, right, that I help, I was in their shoes. So it really started when we moved back to Cincinnati, Ohio. So I'm originally from Cincinnati. My husband and I were living in the DC area, had some kids, and needed to come home because we needed somebody to take care of these kids. We needed some grandparents and stuff. So when we moved home, I took a year off and I was like looking at everything. And that's when I like kind of stumbled upon like this financial wellness and all this kind of stuff. And I looked at all of our stuff and I was like, we are a hot mess, like a hot mess. Like we made good money. We all this, but we had no insurance. We had no trust, estate planning. We had nothing. And I'm like, and now we have two little humans dependent on us. So I had way too much time on my hand. I was on maternity leave and I just started like reading everything, fell into the whole like Dave Ramsey kind of deal, read through all of that. And I was like, okay, we're doing all this right now. So I did all of it, did the whole get out of debt, sold everything, got all my estate planning, life insurance in order. And as I was going through that, I actually ended up getting thyroid cancer.
Oh,
So I was at the hospital and I was like, the lady's like, do you have your power of attorney and your healthcare? And I'm like, yeah, actually I do. And I already had like great term insurance. I had all this stuff in place. And I'm like, yay me. Like 6 months ago, I would have not had any of that in place. So when I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so glad I got this taken care of early, before I needed it. And that kind of spun into when I was teaching at the time. I went back to teaching high school. I was like, I need to teach this to kids. I need to teach this to parents. I need to teach this to everybody. So I got it into the school district where I was as a course that was, I was teaching to seniors. And then I started volunteering and doing an evening for those parents of the school. And so I just found so much like joy and passion, and like it was just so fulfilling. I'm teaching, calculus during the day, which I love calculus and honors out too. Don't get me wrong, I'm a math nerd, but I was like, at night, I'm like, really, I mean, people are coming to me and we're helping them get out of debt, and like they have kids with diseases that they need to help save. I'm like, all this stuff, I'm like, wow, this is like impactful work. So I decided 10 years ago, it's been 10 years in business, is when I decided to go ahead and do that full time, got all my licenses, started helping everybody. And 10 years fast forward, here I am,
It goes fast, right?
real fast.
Yeah, it goes real fast. It just that's how because I've been in business. I started TriStar over 25 years ago, and I feel like I'm still just 25. I'm like,
Like,
how
how'd
did
that
I start a
happen?
business 25 years ago, and I'm already over the age of 50 and a grandma. So
And you look great, and you look great. So it
thank
must be
you.
treating you well.
Thank you. Thank you. So you describe yourself as a personal CFO for high achieving women.
Mhm.
What inspired you to focus on serving this specific group? And how does that connect to the bigger picture of closing financial gaps?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like I wear two hats because I do have like two different ways that I work with folks. And so I'm working with everyday Americans that are trying to retire. I also do retirement plans. So that business that I'm in, that's what I'm working with. Anybody boots on the ground. I'm a retirement plan advisor. I'm sitting one-on-one with all employees. And so that is where I do majority of like my everybody. I'm working with
Yeah.
everybody. My other part is really the book financial planning. That's my private wealth and financial planning. So I only have so much time in the day. And so after working with so many people and figuring out like, who can I really make the biggest change for? So it's like, I can help anyone. Like I have, but I only have so many hours in the day. So I looked at who I enjoyed working with the most, but also who had the biggest transformations and who I could really like, I feel like I was doing life-changing work. And it was this group that just really values the time, needs the expertise, has the resources. And because I do a lot of nonprofit work and I'm involved in a lot of nonprofits, a lot of my clients are as well. So I see it as I'm helping them get their lives together. We're setting up, donor advised funds so they also can fund their charities and other things like that. So it's like I'm not just making an impact in their personal lives because I'm freeing up that time and those resources and making sure they can retire and they're okay. Now they who have a lot of resources can pass that forward to other things that are important in the world. So it was a way to like it's like two ways to get into like helping them so they can continue passing it forward or paying it
No,
forward.
no, that's awesome. And you're right. I talk all the time to people about like our industry and retirement plans and the fact that we do change lives on a daily basis. My husband will laugh at me because I'm so passionate about it. He's like, I mean, like you're not operating on somebody's heart. Like nobody's bleeding out and you're stopping the bleeding. I'm like, I know, but it's that important. The way we change lives every day is what keeps me like pulling up to the office every morning and walking in and
Yeah.
crunching some numbers. So
Yeah.
anyway, I totally get it.
Yeah. We
Um,
might not be saving lives on the line, but we're definitely changing them.
we are definitely changing them, and I would argue saving them, honestly. Um, Looking back, were there any defining moments or catalysts, whether in your career, your volunteer work, or your personal life, that just really influenced your path into financial services? I know you mentioned because you had two kids and you kind of wanted to get your act together, but what else kind of really influenced you as you were deciding to start Pope Financial and really starting to dig in to being a financial planner, not only a financial planner, but teaching all of the financial wellness and really working with people?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a specific moment or event, but just working one on one and, like you said, realizing you're changing lives. So it comes easy to us. We're in the industry, it comes easy to us. I'm also an educator, like that's what my degree is in teaching.
Right.
So this is a skill and a gift that I have that just naturally comes easy to me. So when I'm thinking, oh, I'm just sitting here talking with a couple of people, I'm doing these things, and then they come back, or then you see a change and you're like, oh my gosh, they're like, and you say these things and you got to be careful what you say to people because I've done some things and give some advice and they're like, oh my God, we sold our house and completely moved. And I'm like, oh my God, did we really? Like, I didn't mean, I was like, you didn't know that. They're like, yeah, but you said it. It was a great idea. And I'm like, wow, I better be careful what I suggest. Make sure I
Mhm.
do the right thing. I am, but it's like when you see people's lives, like you can see it. And because I mean, we do have clients, across the country, but majority of ours are local. So I literally can see some of the changes or I see, thanks to social media, like you can see they started these college funds, and now their kids are going to college and they're pulling from them, or they're doing things that they want to do. They finally got out of their job and started their own business because they had some savings aside to be able to do it. So it's the results. It's the
Mhm.
results that you're just like, and for teaching, I mean, usually you don't see results. I mean, nobody, yeah, we taught, exams or whatever, but nobody's like, wow, Miss Pope, your algebra 2 skills like changed my whole life. Like, you wake up and say that, like it might have helped them in college, but this is like really, really, really
Right.
results that keep me, that's what keeps me, going into the office every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that you teach adults too, because so oftentimes, so few states really and so few school districts require any type of financial literacy or financial wellness. So I think that so many times we see parents who aren't educated in financial wellness. So they can't even teach their kids about that, right? Or they're afraid to even discuss it with them because they feel like they don't have the knowledge base. So I love the fact that you're teaching the parents too, so that we can start building, a stronger base. Honestly, I know Petros Kamantros was on my last webcast or podcast, and that was one thing we were talking about is just needing to reach these kids so much earlier than we do now, and their parents who don't have any idea.
Hmm. Yeah, no, you're right. Because I mean, they can't talk about it at home, and I don't make anybody feel bad. I don't feel guilty. We didn't learn it. I don't know about you. We didn't learn any
Right.
of it in school. So like, it's not like you just fell asleep during financial wellness class. Like it wasn't there. So it's
Yeah.
like, get rid of that guilt. It's okay. Let's start now. What can we do better? And
Yeah,
so,
because back then I just took economics. I didn't
yeah,
take financial wellness. I mean, I had the
yeah.
benefit of having a father who was a CPA and a mentor at his office that was closer to my age and like took me under her wings and was like, okay, you're 18. You need to start saving in our SARSEP. And I was like, what is a
What
SARSEP?
is that? Yep. Yep.
So, but I mean, I lucked out. So, a lot of financial advisors don't focus on retirement plans. I mean, you've seen it in our
Yeah.
industry that there's not a lot of financial advisors who focus on retirement plans. A lot of them find it easier to focus on individual wealth. So,
Yep.
what made you lean into retirement plans? Because a lot of advisors will tell you it's just too hard. I don't make enough money on them after when you start them. It takes forever for it to really pay off. So, what made you lean into those?
Yes, very specific reason. So again, I did not come from this industry. I'm not brought up in this industry at all. So I have a completely different lens. I'm just like, okay, what's the most efficient way to help the most amount of people? So when I started coaching and doing my business in the beginning, obviously people would have to pay to work with me.
Yeah,
And then it's like all the people you want to help, they can't afford you. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get my credentials. I'm like, I'm a certified financial planner. I want to go help the world. Like, but the world can't afford,
right,
most people can't afford to hire a personal CFO, a certified financial planner. So I went to a Napa conference, Napa Summit, and it was, I don't know, 8, 10 years ago. And I don't even know how I ended up there. Honestly, I didn't have a plan. I don't even know. So I got there and I was like, oh, like you could do this through like the workplace. So I was like, aha, I figured this out. I'll have the employer. They have money. They can
right.
pay. So if I have that employer pay me, now I just can actually do where I can help everybody. So it seemed like a no-brainer. It was like, and it was also when my kids were younger. So I was like, I wanted to do 9 to 5, not 5 to 9, like I wanted to be
Yeah,
during the
yeah.
day. And that's kind of what plans were. So I was like, these people work during the day. HR and I love my favorite clients are really nonprofits. So again, I'm doing that same double thing. So they're doing good work on the front line, so I can make sure I'm working with them. And they have budgets to be able to afford it. So I'm like, great,
Mhm.
I can get paid and I can also just pass this along. And that's part of my selling point. And a lot of the plans I feel like that I won have been like, oh, well, we have a CFP available to all of our employees. And they do. They use it. They ask me everything. I have chat with CFP nights, once a quarter. Like we do it all. But that was the thing. I was like, I can leverage somebody else paying for me to be able to help everybody.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's so important, when I'm talking to financial advisors, especially newer advisors, because that's something that I do in my firm a lot is like train financial advisors on 401k plans, right? On the
Mhm.
technical side of it. And I know when I'm talking to them, I'm like, you do not understand how important you are to these employees because a
Mhm.
lot of them will never be able to afford a financial advisor on their own. And you are the only financial advisor they will ever know. So, if you take care of them and do right by them, I mean, it's going to change their lives.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's it. And so they will never, it's most of them won't ever work with a financial advisor outside of their 401k advisor. So
Yep. Yep.
it's important to work.
It is. It is. Over your career, you've helped women move from financial overwhelm to clarity and confidence. Can you share a success story or an example of your impact, the impact your work has done in one of your clients' life?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Two come to mind. One I was just on a call with this morning. Um, oh, yeah, I'm trying to think like, okay, well, let me go with the first one that came to mind. The first one that came to mind, and it has to do a little bit with like a workplace plan. This is a client. She works with me individually. So we're doing all the things. I'm working on retirement planning and estate planning and risk management. We're doing all the things. And then it comes to her, are you on track for retirement? So I'm starting to look at her benefits. And she's like, I don't really know. I've been working with this company for all these years. I have all these things. I don't know what an ISO is. She has no stock options, RSUs. She's like, I don't know what any of this means. And she had a decent amount of credit card debt that was kind of in her way, but makes great money.
Right.
For sure. I like, just send me everything. Of course, she uploads everything to the vault. I'm looking at it and I'm like, girlfriend, you have almost $100,000 in incentive stock options right now that you literally can take off and pay off like your house and all of your debt, like all of your debt. You can be debt free from this statement. You had no idea what it meant. Like she just
Right.
like keeping this paper. I don't know what this paper means. Nobody says anything at work, and the person that comes in, I can never schedule. And so she literally had the keys to being debt free in a box of statements that she's just been shoving on, and she's like, what? So I took it, we came back, I explained what it was, of course, all the tax benefits, all the kind of things. But when you looked at all of it, it made, I mean, like she was in tears, like, and she's
Right.
done. Like this was this year. So she's done. Like they've been exercised, they've been in her account, everything's paid off. She is done. So now her paycheck has been rescued. She's able to help her parents. She's able to do all this other stuff that money was just like bleeding out of her budget. And all along she had the solution right at home, but just didn't know.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff we geek out and nerd over all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what? This is simple. Like this is to me, it's simple. So sharing that information is like, it's a gold mine. Like, oh my God, it
Right.
really helped uncover this. Like, I'm like super excited. I couldn't wait. I think I was looking at it at like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, okay, I cannot email her tonight and be like, I figured this out. I was like, okay, I'll wait till the morning. But yeah, I mean, things like that happen every day.
That's awesome. You've also made significant contributions through service, from the Peace Corps in South Africa to supporting individuals experiencing homelessness at Mary Magdalene House. How have these volunteer experiences shaped your perspective on financial planning and equity?
Oh man. Yeah, if we start with Peace Corps, that kind of shaped like just seeing and living outside of the States and seeing just how a lot of the rest of the world lives.
Mhm.
That kind of shaped just really who I was. So, not necessarily like my financial planning, but just kind of how everything that I do. It also is why I got into education. So, I'm still in education. So, I think serving in the Peace Corps, living in South Africa, that was 2.5 years of my life. Living with my host mom and family who like retirement's not was not a thing. Like they don't even that's not even a thing.
Right.
It's like you work forever and then it's actually pretty cool. You work forever until you can't, and then your kids bring their kids there, and then you watch the kids while the child can go out and work and help bring money home. And then it's like just this cycle. And then you get old and your kids take care of you, and the cycle just continues. So it's like a beautiful way of living. It's not what we have here.
Right.
They're all multi-generational households and all this kind of stuff. But what I wanted to bring back was that was like this, there's different stresses in developing countries, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Stress of like retiring and working all this hard work and, like, when am I ever going to be done? That wasn't there. It was this way of just enjoying life and the cycle of life and
Mhm.
continuing that. So like, how can we enjoy life. And we talk about this coverage gaps and savings gaps. It's like, I think we're just too stressed about like the wrong thing. And we don't even know what we're trying to work for. We're trying to get to 65 and have a bucket of money. Like that is not the game plan. So I think that kind of helped shape of like, how can I making your life better and reducing stress.
Hmm.
Because that was one of the best times of my life living there. I mean, I was broke, had no money, but I mean, I was like so happy and it was great. I mean, I loved it. But I've always been service. So that started, I've always done service. I'm on nonprofit boards. The Mary Magdalene House, like that is one of my favorite things to do. I got introduced to them when I was teaching at the local high school where I just talked about bringing in this stuff. It was a local school here that we did work with them. And then I was like, I just love it. I just love it. So like, again, I want to help everybody. I can't help, not everybody needs a financial planner. But what I did
Right.
down there was people that were experiencing homelessness. Like I went down twice a week at that time and did laundry. So they had a facility where they can come in, like they only have one set of clothes. We'd wash them, give them a fresh set, and then they come back the next day and get them. And so again, it's just a little part that like you can go and make somebody's life better. They smile, they can come in and take a shower and shave and do all those kind of things and then go on about their way. It's not perfect or it makes you sad about our whole system, but that's another story. But at least
Yeah.
like, what can I do to, there's a little bit of guilt of like, I'm working with people that can pay me, but like, I gotta have my hands in something.
Right.
So that's how I can still stay connected. So I'm not just, working with CEOs and CFOs all day long. Although
Right.
that is good work. I still want to have my hands on the ground too.
Sure, sure. No, I do that. I do something similar with a group here called Infant Crisis Services. And I was able, they actually had a teen board. I used to teach a service learning class at my kids' school where I would teach the class and teach them about different service opportunities because they were required to have service hours. And so I started to get to know Infant Crisis and was able to actually get my kids and lots of my friends' kids involved there. And still to this day, my son is on their young adult board and things like that. So I know exactly what you mean. Like we still need, our service projects on top of the work that we get to do every day.
And I'm going to write that one down, infant services, because
Yeah.
I feature a nonprofit in my newsletter every month. So
Yeah,
I just
Infant Crisis Services, they're amazing.
okay.
They're just a great
Yeah.
group of people, and they serve babies who can't take care of themselves. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's
Awesome.
pretty
I'm gonna look into
awesome.
that. Thank you.
Today you're serving on the board of the Episcopal Retirement Services still, right?
Mhm.
How does this leadership role allow you to make a broader impact in closing financial and retirement gaps in your community?
Oh, yeah. Interesting. I wasn't even thinking about ERS, but very interesting story with them. I didn't know who they were when I got asked to be on their board. I had to Google them. Uh,
Uh-huh.
but once I did, and I saw what they're doing, so they provide like it's long-term care facilities, depending on what it is, continuing.
Okay.
But basically, they're serving aging adults. And in what I have realized in our industry is the middle is left out. There is something for people that can afford it, can go to the amazing facilities. People that have no money can qualify for the other facilities. Everybody in the middle who we work with every day that's done a good job and maxed out their 401k and done the things, they can't afford the big one. They have too much money for this, they're left out. So it's called the
Hmm.
middle market. And when I found out about what ERS is doing and what their passion project and what they are like, they are like the first groundbreaking organization really doing this, is they are building, like literally getting ready to break ground on a middle market solution. So it's
Oh.
something that regular, everyday, working W-2 Americans that want to retire with dignity, that we are like pounding on the ground. This is who we want to help. Now there's going to be a solution for where they can go and afford for continuing care, or if it's going to be long-term care or whatever services they need as they age. So that was like, oh, I will see this through. Like, I'm super excited. Like, I have clients where I can't even fit them. We're getting long-term care insurance, and you're like, I mean, that's awesome, but like, what facility
Right.
where can we even use this for? We have to like really look to be able to afford something. So they are really focused on that, and that's their growth strategy. So I'm really excited to be a part of that and see that through.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. That's great. And as I mentioned earlier, I met you through both of our involvement with the American Retirement Association.
Mhm.
Specifically, your sister organization is the National Association of Plan Advisors. Mine is the American Society of Pension Professionals and Actuaries. That's such a big mouthful.
Yeah, I know. ASPA's like I feel like I just learned what ASPA stood for last year. I was like,
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
something, something, something.
Yes, exactly. So I know that you've served on a few of their volunteer committees that fall primarily under NAPA's umbrella, such as Thrive Mentoring, NAPA 401k Summit, the Planning Committee, and the Women in Retirement Conference, which now we are calling RISE. Tell me what you've learned from your involvement in NAPA and the ARA as a whole. I'm assuming you also do some of the advocacy work on the NAPA side as well. So tell me what you've learned as far as being an active member and volunteer with ARA.
What have I learned? That we are all struggling with the same things and all in this together. And what I love about the sister organizations, I mean, things like our relationship and people that like I wouldn't know you or all these other people like feel like I'm
Right.
really know them and can call if I have any questions. So what I feel like is it brings us together and we're all from different broker dealers, different, professions, different everything, but we all are trying to do the same thing. And so when you realize that we all have the same mission, we're very different people, but we have the same mission. And when we come together, and it's you can most of mine are like the women organizations that I'm a part of, very passionate about that. We just can share everything, and so it's like making things move faster. We are sharing things, and there's zero competition. It's not like it's this is what I need help with. Who can I call? They're like, oh yeah, you should call this person. Call this person. They're going to be able to help you. And so I see that. I'm a part of that. I love it. You see people switching jobs and careers and moving with others, like, oh, yeah, that's the work connection. Like, I remember, making salsa with those ladies. It's
Yeah.
just like such a good, I don't know, it's like it is a sisterhood, but it feels very welcoming.
Yeah.
And so otherwise it's so big, ARA is so big and all the different silos, like why would I, besides working with my TPA that I work with, all, like if I'm working
Right.
one-on-one, well, I probably wouldn't talk to a bunch of other TPAs and have that experience with them in those relationships, but we do. So I think it's connecting us all and knowing we have the same vision, have the same
Hmm.
struggles, and we're here to help each other.
Yeah, and I think, I've said it a lot. I feel like we are so blessed in our industry because it is so collaborative
Mhm.
versus cutthroat like so many other industries are.
Yeah.
And we all seem to have the same mission of just making this industry better as a
Mhm.
whole and making people's lives better. And that just comes out, that mission of just wanting to give back and improve things just comes out in all of us and brings us such great collaboration. I feel so lucky to have found not only an organization, but an industry as a whole to be a part of that encourages that and fosters that and builds that. I just think it's amazing.
Yes, I agree with you.
Have you gotten anything from your involvement with ARA, like that you've taken back? Um, things you've learned from other people that you've taken back that have helped you close some of those economic gaps in your own community?
Hmm. Actually, yeah, one of the first presentations I ever did on this, closing the gap, the 56% everything's African Americans don't have enough in retirement.
Hmm.
I did an entire, it started as an in-person seminar, then I did a webinar, and then ARA had a brochure on this, and it was like this weird trifold thing. And I worked directly with them of like updating that and how we should do it and format it. And I used that, took it to our local chamber and worked with business owners in our local chamber here to like actually share this information. So I think I might have been the only one that ordered like 150 of those. And then I went to like Summit later and there were some more on the butt thing. And I like left out with like a handful of those, trying to share it out. But it was this whole idea of like closing the gap and what's happening and being aware. So it was specific statistics and they're different now, but access to plans, and also how many people have $0 in retirement. And it was don't be the 56. That's what it was. Don't be the 56%. And I think it was specifically, it was, African American families of this specific amount income level that have $0 in retirement.
Hmm.
So it was like, that's eye opening. Like when we're saying like, not a lot of people are ready. People aren't ready for retirement. No, these people have nothing, like
Right.
absolutely $0. Like, let's start there. Like, this is a real issue. So that's where I think I got the information out. And then when we talk with other different advisors and stuff, we can do the nerd work behind the scene of like helping plan sponsors realize some of the benefits of auto enrollment and some of the, so when I
Hmm.
use that, it's like, why would I want to auto enroll? I don't want to do that. I don't want to babysit, and it's like, well, what percentage of your employees have nothing in retirement? You're probably one of the reasons, like in a nice way, like, so you can
Right.
help solve this with plan design. We can be behind the scenes and taking that, because if we just talk about it and share it and don't actually go to implement it, I mean, like, it's good to make, bring awareness up, but if we're not changing, and like you said, plans are the way to change the most people at once. I can only work with so many people one-on-one.
Yes.
Plan that
Yeah.
has 5,000 people and you get them to do auto enroll and auto escalate. You talk about change lives. That's where you guys get it. Like the
Yeah.
TPAs, like get that plan. That plan document is changing lives.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and you're right. I love to have the plan design discussion, especially with auto enroll now. And now what I love too is it's not even a choice.
Not even a choice.
Not
Yeah,
even a
it's
choice. We're
required. Yeah,
just,
I'm like, remember I've been talking about this? Well, now it's
yeah.
required. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that this is what we're doing now. So here you
Yep.
go.
Yeah.
Reflecting on your career so far,
Mhm.
what lessons have you learned that you believe are most valuable for financial advisors, employers, or even individuals working to secure their retirement?
Lessons that are most valuable. Uh oh, that's a big question. I think I start with mindset of like, what is it that you really want, and thinking about that, because
Mm.
I think a lot of guilt comes around. Am I ready? Can I do this? I read some half article that said I could take this percent out, so I need this amount here. I think what you really need to do is think about, what is your mindset? What does that next chapter look like? I don't even use retirement usually is the word. Like, what are you going to
Right.
do next? And so when you really sit down with folks, they're not stuck. Nobody, I don't have anybody that's going to just stop working at 65. Everything is going to stop. Both income, everybody's going to stop doing everything and just start spending all the money out of that IRA. Like,
Right.
no, that's not really what happens. And so when you look at, if I were thinking like, what could I take away? I would say design your life, design what your life looks at that next stage, and don't think about a number like what age or whatever. What does it look like? I want to
Yeah.
I want to start a business. I want to do this. I want to have real estate. I want to do this. Okay, and then back into like where you are, because too many people are reading little bite-sized pieces and thinking they have to have this X amount of dollars in their account or they are not ever going to retire. That's not the case. That's just not the case. It's about how much you need to spend. And then how can you do you have some income to cover that? And then
Right.
when can you make that happen? So I think designing your life around what you want and then matching the numbers up to make it work.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you're a fan of Nevin and Fred, as I am. I don't know if you've listened to their new podcast where
I haven't yet.
they interview people from our industry that are now actually in retirement.
Oh,
And I think one of the coolest things to listen to them is to listen to how the people they're interviewing like planned for what retirement was going to look like. And you're right, like design it. How do you want it to look? And even practice it. I've heard them say one thing, like Nevin's kind of practicing
yeah.
retirement right now, right? Fred is still full on working, but Nevin's like practicing.
Mhm.
And so I think that's so important, right? To really design and to look out, how far is it going to take me to get that? And then because I can't imagine just stopping work at 65 and never doing anything again. I mean,
No,
I love to play golf, but not that much.
not
I
that much.
mean,
Like, yeah, not that much. No, I like to go to the pool. I would burn up if I stop. Like, what are we gonna do here? So no, I
right.
don't think that's what the end goal is. Like, what are you gonna do next?
Yeah,
And then I
exactly.
think also like the practicing is a great part of that. When we look at budgeting and stuff, it's like, okay, what does it look like without, you might hurry up and pay off your mortgage. Like, you have all this extra money. You might not even need all the things that you get. your
Right.
pension and your social security might cover all your expenses. So it's really like, how can you knock out some of those big bills so that you can get there a little bit earlier? So instead of being like, I'm going to have a mortgage all the way till I'm 80, or, you know,
Right.
practice not working out, like you just use all your income for these last 5 years and knock all that out. Now you have barely any bills. I bet you can get out of there a lot earlier.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, what do you see as the biggest challenges working Americans, especially women, face when it comes to retirement savings and financial security?
Well, statistically, it'll say like access to plans, but it's that gap. Most of us have that caregiver gap.
Mm,
And when you look at the statistics on that, whether you're stopping to have children or raise children or help aging parents or a spouse, it's a lot of time it's the woman that stops working, which means contributions stop, matching contributions stop as well, income stops as well. And so even a few years of that makes a huge difference. I don't know the solution of how to fix it, but I know I used to tell my students, don't come to me with a problem if you don't at least have a part solution. And now I'm like, yeah, being a hypocrite. But I do think, I don't like, you probably know more of the stats on that and like specifically what that is, but that time out of the workplace, we're
right.
punished for it. We're kind of like penalized for it. And we can't even, yes, there's, for children, maternity leave and all of that, but like, it's not enough. Like nobody's going to take,
Right.
I mean, it really isn't. So if you want to take more, you're doing that on your own. And so you're again not working. So I think that's one of the biggest things. Um, and then I also statistically, it's the access. Like when you look at different groups, a lot of different groups, even having access to a plan. So like
Hmm.
you're working, there's a lot of different small businesses. There's a lot of people that, and women own a lot of small businesses and don't have access to a plan or haven't started a plan. So they haven't, just because I haven't found them yet. That's why I have not
Right.
found them yet and told them about the secure tax credits and why they can have a plan right away. And it's going to be almost free. That's because we haven't gotten around to it yet. But those that I do and start those startup plans, they just didn't think they could have access to one. They didn't think they could
Hmm.
afford one. I had 3 employees. And then now once you have the vehicle, because we know you're like way more likely to save if you're saving through a workplace plan and it's coming out of your paycheck. So
Right.
giving access
Right.
and figuring out how to solve when we have to stop several years of working, when you add
Yeah.
all of it up, that's a challenge too.
Yeah, and you mentioned like not being able to afford to start a plan. It's amazing to me. I don't know if you come across this, how many people, small business owners will say, "Oh, I can't have a 401k plan. They're just too expensive."
Yeah.
And I when you start talking about even without the tax credits, right? Because we have the tax credits now that can help pay for the first few years. But
Mhm.
even without them, they're getting, a pretty good deduction for contributions like the company's making and things like that. So I don't, I think that myth of it's just too expensive because when we look at like what they can increase their contributions by compared to like a simple IRA versus a full-on 401k, um, we can find them ways, right, to
Mhm.
make it not too expensive. Maybe April, you and I just need to do like a series of webinars talking specifically to women small business owners.
Yeah, exactly. And you can sell them. So the thing is, they think when I hear this, it's like, yeah, I can't match all my employees 4%, every single employee I have. I'm like, oh, if only you had to work with somebody that could do the plan design, that would make it,
Right.
you have options.
Yeah, and it's like, have you actually looked at what that number is, that
Yeah,
4% number? Because I think if you looked at that number, you would be
yeah,
surprised. And
yeah,
then you add on the credits and the deductions and
yeah.
things
It's
like
like,
that.
absolutely. And that's what I do. Usually, like, I'm like, before I do any kind of proposal, I'm like, send me what your payroll is. And even if
Yeah,
they're, you have an idea of what your monthly payroll is. Just give me what did you, do on whatever payroll system you did last month.
right.
Do a quick thing. Look at 4%. 4% of that. Tell them an actual number. We talk in percentages all day long, and nobody in the world thinks about percentages. So,
Yes.
like, this is how much that is. They're like, oh, that's not even that bad. So you're right.
Yeah.
Putting it in the numbers helps.
Yeah, I think when they actually see it, it's crazy. It was like, so my office manager, Allison, was telling me that my employees were really disappointed that I don't have vision care. I have every other kind of care for their benefits, right? Like we
Yeah.
have all the other cares. We just don't
Mhm.
have vision care. And so I was like, okay, well, run a number.
Yeah.
And so I had my insurance guy give me a number, and she came back and said, "No, I don't think we're going to do this because the company has to pay for the full amount." And I was like, I added up and it was like $500 a year would pay for my employee and their family to have vision care. And I was like, "You're telling me that for $500 a year per employee, I could solve a problem that they're unhappy about?" Like,
Yeah.
I,
Okay.
I
No
just
brainer.
needed to see the number, right? You
No
just got to
brainer.
put the number to it. So,
Yeah. No
yeah, I
brainer.
think seeing the number helps, and not talking in percentages and not talking in jargon
Yep.
that we
Yep.
use. Yeah,
Acronyms, jargon, all the things. Yes.
yes, acrosins for
Yeah. All
sure.
of it.
Many people you serve are obviously juggling careers, caregiving. We just talked about that, financial responsibilities all at one time. What strategies do you use to help your clients balance the competing demands while still trying to stay on track for their retirement savings?
Oh, yeah, that's not easy. There, everything is pulling at us and everything
Right.
is more expensive. And I always sound like, kids on average cost about $300,000 from 0 to 18. So every single one you add up, it's like, dang, everyone's in my pockets and I'm supposed to be able to retire. So I'm really into automation, very into automation. I make sure that, they take care, at least get the free money that's coming from their employer. But what I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do as, again, as a personal CFO, what I don't want to do is send you home. I was a teacher. I'm not sending you home with homework. I don't do that.
Right.
You're not gonna get it done. So like this morning when I was meeting with another client, like, whatever I'm telling you to do, we're doing it together. So when you book our meeting, our check-in meeting, we're getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to add to the stress of you thinking, oh, that's right. I need to do that. I need to change my allocations. I need to do that rollover. I need to, switch my automatic payments for my new credit card so I can get the point. Like, so we schedule it and we do it. So I'm like, all right, here we go. What are we doing? I'm like, go in there, change that thing, log this, do that. So when we leave, there's no homework. So that's just one-on-one how
Yeah.
I can, because I'm working with busy professionals. What they don't have is
Mm-hmm.
time. So if they can book 45 minutes with me and we can get done what we need to get done, that's something that I'm not adding to their list. So I always try to not add anything to their list. I make sure that we get the work done right there when we can do it. Work alongside with them. I'm not going to send them away to do estate planning and their tax, whatever. I'm in the meetings with their estate planning attorney and their CPA, and we're all doing it together. I'm like, hey guys, here's the spreadsheet. Here's what we need. This is what we have for taxes this year. How are we going to do this? What do we need to do? Okay, cool. Let me make the changes. So just being that personal guide alongside of them so they don't have to stress about it, think about it. I'm there to not give them any more work. What they don't need is
I,
more work. You're already
I think
competing
that's
for their
amazing.
money. So like everybody wants all their money, the kids and this and everything else is so expensive. So I also cannot take more of their time than they need.
I think that's amazing for sure. I know my estate attorney sent me home with like three questions, and I have
So
still
imagine
not
like
like,
a big packet.
I still have not sat down with my husband and had the long conversation to answer the three questions, right? I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, because it's homework. It's like
it
by the
is.
time
It
I
is.
get home and I make dinner and
Yeah.
we clean up after dinner, and then I'm just like, oh, I just want to
Who
veg
wants to
right
talk about
now.
that?
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
like that conversation. Sometimes it's kind of weird. Again, you're like, okay, I want to hang out. I want to sit down or talk about this. So when we're on, husband and wife, and we did this with another client, it's like, they didn't really want to say like, I really want my sister to do it. I'm thinking about my brother, So
Yeah,
I bring it up. It's like, okay, so who do you want to take care of your kids? They were having the conversation on the screen right there.
yeah,
And I'm kind of in the background, but I brought it up and I'm like, well, let's just think through this. So being that third party, it makes
yeah.
them get it done, but also they're not the one that has to bring it up and they're not the one that has to say it. So a lot of times I feel like I'm a family therapist counselor. I need a social work license. If I get any other designation, it's going to be licensed social work.
Right,
Um,
exactly. Licensed therapist.
licensed therapist, because
I
that's
love
what
that.
I do as well.
I love that. You've created a webcast series. I've seen it on your LinkedIn, and I think you've done them in person too for your clients and other people in your community. I know you've given frequent presentations about savings and financial literacy. Tell me more about the programs you've created, who they're directed towards, and what results you're seeing with those.
Yes, very different. I have a lot of different things going on. What you're seeing now are weekly webinar series, that's specifically, these are for like potential new clients. Like these are not current clients. I don't have their email addresses. So none of those are live on LinkedIn. You have to
Mm.
actually register and put your email address so that I can get you in my CRM.
Right. So you can get a, yeah, yeah.
Yes. So that's what you're seeing there now, our weekly webinar series. I also do, and you can see the old ones where I'm doing them live. Some of it I'm just giving live information, quick little bits, jumping on either Instagram or LinkedIn. I've not done much all summer because I have 3 boys that play 4 sports. So
I understand.
yesterday was the first all kids were back in school. So yeah, when you looked at it today, I was like, yep, this actually will work. Nobody's going to be here. So that part, I will be getting back into more of those where I'm just giving out information, not looking to connect with anyone specifically. But I also do 2 others webinars that I do. I do all of my financial wellness for all of my plans. I create all that information. I do all my own videos. So
Okay.
those go out quarterly. I do them live quarterly, and then I have, where I send out all the replays. I have a little page that is, they can watch all the replays on that if they want to. And then I also I have a not weekly, that would be way too much, a monthly newsletter that I do a little snippet of something that goes to my entire database. So it's like entire database, it's clients, it's retirement plan clients, and then potential prospective clients is what I'm doing on LinkedIn right now. And so, yes, like, what do you see from it? Oh, it's very different. It's funny because like you can track it, which I think is really interesting to see. And I can tell specifically if I don't invite people, I mean, this is not our rocket science. If you don't specifically invite them, they don't show up. Like just
Right.
putting it out there isn't going to happen. You have to actually follow the steps and invite them to the event and send the thing and follow up the thing. So I now have a new marketing intern that is her job only is to get people there. So
Nice.
got to do that. And then you see the results. But I know as soon as I do my quarterly webinars for my plans, I have a button in there because all of our plans also have a quarterly chat with a CFP day. So I can tell right afterwards, my calendar starts lighting up because something, whatever, pinged the question they have. So they're on my calendar and scheduling right away. So that's how I can tell those are working. And then those are, workplace plans. So it's going to be just something I'm working with those individuals on.
That's
But yeah, I
awesome.
look through all of the data. There's too much to do as a business owner, as you know. So like
Yes.
I don't sit and look through all my like constant contact data to see like who clicked on everything. I don't care about who unsubscribed. I'm like, great, clean my list. I don't even care. So I probably could spend more time looking specifically what's happening, but I know that I'm getting clients, I'm getting people that are scheduling calls, scheduling meetings, and yeah, that's the game plan.
Yeah. It's a lot. I know. It's a lot. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Yeah.
So I actually postponed or just kept pushing off starting this podcast for like 2 years. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it took like 2 years to jump off the cliff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Once you
exactly.
start getting the ball rolling, it's like, okay, I can do this, I can do it. But it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of commitment. So if you could share one piece of advice with our audience, um, who may be financial advisors, maybe plan sponsors, it's actually directed at both. So one piece of advice about helping close the gaps in retirement savings and coverage, what would that piece of advice be?
For plan sponsors and advisors and CPAs, anyone that has any influence on plan design. I know new plans, we don't have to worry about new plans. They have to have it. Old plans
Right.
don't. And so it's really get that auto enroll there. Like that auto enroll is just huge. And as the advisor, it's your responsibility, our responsibility to make sure people know how to opt out. I'm not saying we need to like make sure everybody's doing this. Make sure they know how
Mhm.
to opt out, they get the button, they get the options. But even in the countries where donor, what is it? When you donate your organ donors, when you have
Right.
to opt out of organ donating, it's like 90%. So, I don't know. It's just that I think is one of the biggest takeaways that you can do there. And then on the advisor side, another part of our role, you have to make sure there's access. Like you said, we are most likely the only advisor they're ever going to see. So it's really, really important to take that role seriously, make sure you're helping, because I think the financial education and the mindset and the behavioral changes and all of that, that's just as important to getting them to taking advantage of the match, right? So like we
Hmm.
get them to take advantage of the match and they have all this money, but they have no emergency fund. They just keep taking a loan out. Like, what are we doing here, people? We need to really help all the other areas that they are struggling in that
Yeah.
keeps them going back to the retirement plan or feeling like they're broke. Let's help them
Yeah.
clear up some of those other issues. So it might not be one-on-one. It might be some kind of AI solution, some kind of robo solution. It could be something. There's like new text messaging solutions to help with behavior management, but whatever you can do to help those employees so they're not just using the retirement plan as a savings account.
Right. Right. I totally agree. So from your volunteer work with with schools, retirement services, community organizations, where do you see the biggest opportunities for improving financial literacy and access to retirement plans?
You said the biggest opportunities.
For improving financial literacy and access to retirement plans.
Hmm. So improving financial literacy, you have to go where the masses are, I think. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be one-on-one. It's just like teaching, like getting it in early. We talk about getting it in the education systems, making it mandatory. If there's something you can do in your state, I mean, that would be great. Advocacy work is important. If
Hmm.
you can get that there. But if it's even through plans, like workplace plans, a lot of plans that we see when you're like, what's your financial wellness? What do you do? How do you, a lot of it's not there. So get to the schools, get to the plans. That's how you get to the masses.
Hmm.
What was the second part of that? It was the second part of that question.
Uh,
Yeah, well, I think
the
it was like,
biggest opportunity for improving financial literacy and access. And I
and,
think we touched kind of on access too,
mm,
is like, I think re-educating people on what's available.
yeah, yeah, re-educating people and business owners.
Yeah.
So making sure business owners know that they too can have a 401k. Like it's not expensive. It's
Yeah.
something every business owner can actually do.
Yeah, I agree. Um, okay, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners, whether it's about your work, your volunteer efforts, your vision for a more financially secure future for working Americans, anything else that you would like to add?
Um, no, this is exciting. This is really good work. We have a lot of work to do. So anybody that I think any of us that are involved in whether it's financial planning or working with plans, keeping that vision alive. Like we are here to help everyone retire with dignity, but what does that really mean? So just keeping that vision, staying motivating, like it can be depressing, it can be stressful. And we have to keep that smile on our face. And, even when I'm looking at someone who is $100,000 in credit card debt and 200,000 in student loan debt and all these things, we're like, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it
Yeah,
out. It's not the end of the world because I mean, this stress can be real. I mean, I'm talking about real. People are,
yeah,
harming themselves. I mean, like it can get real. So I want to make sure I always tell people too, people get so stressed out about that. I'm like, good thing you really can't go to jail for not paying your credit cards. Like I'm joking. I mean,
right.
you can't. I'm like, just because they keep calling, like hang up, act like you're somebody else when they call. Like just change your name. Try to bring a little bit of like lateness to the because people really are stressed about some of these issues that
Right.
happen. So I want to make sure that we're not going to add to that. We're going to stay positive. We're here to help. We're not a knight in shining armor, but we're going to be working alongside with them. And they are looking for us for hope. We
Yeah.
gotta keep that hope alive. So they're looking for us to hopefully help them in some way. So we got to stay positive when we're trying to do this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing your insights with us and for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the help, or the work you're doing to help Americans close the gaps in their savings. For anyone who wants to learn more about the work April does every day, we will have her contact information in the show notes. And if you're listening to this podcast and you believe that you have an innovative approach to closing the gaps in retirement savings for Americans, and you would like to share your ideas, please let me know. My contact information is also in the show notes. Thank you for joining us on The Gap, and please join us next time.